Today, I want to start with a question that might have crossed your mind and heart many times. If I am chosen, why does God allow me to suffer so much? If you've ever felt alone, misunderstood, or overwhelmed by life's pains, know that you are not alone. This is a deep, legitimate doubt, and it carries a tremendous spiritual weight. But I want to tell you something important. There is a purpose in every tear you've shed. God never wastes pain. Every difficult moment in your life is shaping, transforming, and preparing you for something greater. My name is Harper Stone, and in this video, we will explore this issue together. I will show you why God allows these moments of suffering, even for the chosen, and how these challenges are directly connected to your divine purpose. Before we begin, I invite you to reflect and interact with me in the comments. Do you feel that the suffering you face has a greater meaning? I want to hear your story and create a welcoming space so that together we can grow as a community of the chosen. Now let me share something that might change your perspective on the difficulties you face. As we begin to reflect on this deep question, it's time to look at suffering from a new perspective. As a chosen one, you are on a unique journey. And suffering, though painful, is not a punishment, but a tool for learning and growth. Let's explore this further with examples, metaphors, and reflections that might change how you see your struggles. The answer to this question lies in the concept of transformation. Think of a rough stone. For it to become a diamond, it needs to undergo a process of extreme pressure and heat. Similarly, God is polishing you so that you shine in your divine essence. Every challenge you face is part of this process, but there is something even deeper here. Suffering reveals who you really are. When everything is fine, it's easy to believe that we are strong and resilient. But it is in pain that we discover the true depths of our soul. That's where we find God, turn to Him, and understand that without His grace we could not move forward. Imagine your life as a river. At the beginning it may seem calm, but along the way you will face rocks, waterfalls, and currents. These obstacles are not there to stop you, but to strengthen you. A river without challenges does not gain strength. It remains stagnant. Just like the river, you are called to move forward, even in the face of storms. When you feel you can't go on, that's where God steps in, renewing your strength and reminding you that you are never alone. Throughout history, great spiritual figures have endured immense suffering before fulfilling their purposes. Think of Joseph in the Bible. He was betrayed by his own brothers, sold as a slave, and spent years in prison. He could have questioned, "Why did God allow this to happen to me if I was chosen?" But all that suffering was part of a larger plan. He was prepared to become one of the most important figures in Egypt and save thousands of lives. Another example is Jesus, the greatest chosen one. He faced rejection, persecution, and the unimaginable pain of the cross. His suffering was not a sign of weakness or abandonment, but the greatest expression of love and redemption. These examples show that suffering is not a sign that God has forgotten you, but an indication that He is working in you for something greater. One of the most distressing experiences for a chosen one is feeling that God is silent. Perhaps you have prayed, sought answers, and it seems that the heavens are closed. But I want you to think about something. During a test, the teacher is silent. This does not mean He has abandoned you. He is there, watching, waiting for you to apply everything you have learned. God's silence is a proof that He trusts you. He knows you have what it takes to get through this moment. He is shaping your faith and trust. As a chosen one, you carry a special light within you. This light is your divine essence, the reflection of the purpose that God has given you. But it's important to remember that light attracts attention, and not everyone around you will know how to deal with it. The suffering you face may often come from attacks or misunderstandings from other people. This is because the more you shine, the more you expose the shadows around you. But don't be shaken. Jesus said, "In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world." John 16:33. You are called to overcome, and your light is proof of that. Every pain, every tear, and every challenge are tools of God to take you to a higher level of spiritual consciousness. When you feel you can't continue, remember, God does not choose the capable, but He equips the chosen. Your suffering is not in vain. It is a preparation for you to flourish and fulfill your divine purpose. Now that we understand that suffering is part of the journey of the chosen and is a tool of God to transform us, it's time to delve deeper into the central concept. Let's explore how this suffering is intrinsically linked to your divine purpose, how it manifests in everyday life, and how you can find the strength to move forward. One of the biggest challenges for those who are chosen is to understand that pain is not random. God does not allow suffering in vain. Each obstacle you face has a specific purpose, to align you with the divine plan for your life. Suffering is often like a warning sign. It awakens you to the areas of your life that need attention, healing, or transformation. Perhaps you are stuck in patterns that no longer serve your spiritual growth. Maybe God is preparing you for a bigger challenge where you will need strength, faith, and resilience. Think of David. Before becoming king, he faced lions, bears, and even giants. Each battle prepared him for the greater purpose God had for him. The same happens to you. The battles you face today are strengthening you for the purpose that awaits you tomorrow. As a chosen one, you possess unique spiritual gifts. These gifts were not given to you by chance. They are directly linked to your mission in life. However, these gifts are often only fully awakened through suffering. For example, people with the gift of empathy, who can feel the pain of others and offer comfort, often go through periods of great emotional suffering. This is because, to truly understand another's pain, they must first experience it themselves. Your suffering is not a burden, but a disguised gift. Through it, your gifts are revealed and strengthened. When you confront your own shadows, you also learn how to guide others through theirs. Suffering doesn't just come from the external world, it often arises from an internal battle. As a chosen one, you are called to confront your own shadows, your fears, traumas, and limitations. This battle can be painful, but is essential for your growth. Think of yourself as a seed. Before it can bloom, it must break through its shell and grow through the dark soil. This process is uncomfortable, but necessary for the seed to reach its full potential. Similarly, you must confront your darkness to reach your light. Many believe that faith grows during times of peace and tranquility. However, faith is more deeply cultivated during times of difficulty. It is when you feel there is no way out, that everything seems lost, that your faith is truly tested and strengthened. God uses suffering to teach you to trust Him completely. When you surrender your struggles to Him and trust His guidance, you realize you are not alone. He is with you, guiding you even in the darkest moments. Take Job as an example. He lost everything, his family, wealth, health, but remained faithful. In the end, God restored everything twofold, showing that Job's suffering had a greater purpose. Now let's apply this concept practically. How can you use the suffering you face to grow spiritually and align with your purpose? Here are some reflections and practices that might help. Accept pain as part of the journey. Recognize that suffering is temporary and part of the transformation process. Remember, you are not alone. God is with you. Seek moments of silence and introspection. In silence, you will hear God's voice. Use pain as an invitation to connect more deeply with Him. Strengthen your spiritual community. Surround yourself with people who share your faith and purpose. Sharing your struggles with other chosen ones can bring comfort and inspiration. Transform your pain into purpose. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to help others? Your pain could be the key to fulfilling your calling. If you are chosen, your journey will be different. You will face challenges that others may never understand. But remember, the greater the struggle, the greater the purpose. God is preparing you for something extraordinary. Think of life as a mountain. The path to the top is full of rocks, winds, and obstacles, but the view from the top is worth every difficult step. You are climbing your spiritual mountain, and every challenge is a step further toward the purpose God has for you. If you like this approach, I can continue to the next part, where we will explore the benefits and transformations that arise when you embrace suffering as part of your spiritual journey. Shall I proceed? Now that we understand how suffering is part of the journey of the chosen and how it is connected to the divine purpose, let's explore the benefits and transformations that occur when you embrace this pain with faith and courage. When you face suffering, your relationship with God deepens. It is in the most challenging times that you realize the magnitude of His power and grace. God uses suffering to teach you to rely less on your own strength and more on Him. This is not weakness. It is a sign that your faith is being strengthened. Suffering also helps you realize what truly matters. It removes distractions and teaches you to value the simpler things, the connection with God, inner peace, and genuine relationships. Transformation. What once seemed like a break in your life is now seen as a moment of strengthening. You emerge with a more solid faith, capable of facing any storm. Chosen ones are often called to lead, inspire, and guide others. But to do so genuinely, it is necessary to understand the pain of others. God allows you to go through challenges, not to punish you, but to prepare you. When you face hardships, you become more sensitive to others' struggles and more equipped to offer comfort. Think of someone who has suffered significant losses. This person has a depth of empathy that can only come from their experience. When you embrace your pain and transform it into learning, you become a source of healing for those around you. Transformation. Your pain becomes a bridge to connect with and help others. You not only overcome your challenges, but also light the way for others. Often, it is through suffering that the chosen discover their true mission. When everything seems to be falling apart, you start asking important questions. What is the purpose of my life? What does God expect from me? Suffering acts as a catalyst, pushing you to seek answers and guiding you to the right path. It makes you question whether you are living according to your purpose or if you are stuck in patterns that need to be broken. Practical example. Imagine someone who has lost everything: their job, relationships, direction. This moment of break can be the starting point for a complete transformation, leading the person to discover a greater purpose, such as helping others or creating something meaningful. Transformation. You not only survive suffering, but use it as fuel to align your life with the divine purpose. Suffering also plays an important role in bringing you closer to God. When things are going well, it's easy to get distracted and forget the spiritual connection. But in times of pain, you are forced to look up, to seek answers and consolation in God. These moments of vulnerability are actually opportunities to reconnect with the divine more deeply. They remind you that you are not alone and that God is always present, guiding every step. Transformation. You become more aware of God's presence in your life. Your spiritual connection deepens and strengthens. As a chosen one, you will face battles that test your strength, but each battle you overcome makes you more resilient. What once seemed unbearable is now seen as a lesson. You learn to get up faster, trust more in God, and face challenges with courage. Remember, each wound you carry becomes a scar of victory, a reminder that you are stronger than you thought. You are not defined by suffering, but by how you overcome it. Transformation. You become a living example of strength and resilience, inspiring others to face their own battles. As a chosen one, your journey is not just about you. Your suffering and transformations have the power to impact the lives of others. When you share your experiences, you become a source of hope for those still in the storm. Think about how many times you have been inspired by someone who faced great challenges and overcame them. Now imagine the impact you can have by sharing your own story. Your light, forged in pain, can illuminate the path for many. Transformation. You leave a legacy of inspiration and hope, showing that it is possible to transform pain into purpose. Whatever challenge you face today, know that it is preparing you for something greater. God is shaping, transforming, and empowering you. Every tear, every struggle, every moment of doubt is part of a plan that you may not yet fully understand, but that is certainly leading you to something extraordinary. If you feel that these words are speaking directly to your heart, know that this is God reminding you that you are not alone. He is with you at every step, guiding you toward the greater purpose He has planned for you. Now, let's face the deeper challenges that the chosen encounter. These obstacles may seem unbearable at times, but they are, in fact, part of the journey that transforms you into who you were called to be. Let's explore how to recognize these challenges, face them with courage, and overcome them, allowing them to become springboards to your purpose. One of the greatest challenges chosen ones face is loneliness. This loneliness is not just physical, but spiritual. Often, you feel that no one around you understands what you're going through. It's as if your journey is unique, and the feeling of isolation can be overwhelming. Why does this happen? Because God often sets apart the chosen for a special purpose. He removes you from places and relationships that are not aligned with your mission. This process of separation can be painful, but it's necessary for you to grow. View loneliness as an invitation to self-knowledge. Use this time to connect with yourself and God. Surround yourself with people of faith. It may take time to find your community, but there are other chosen ones who share your journey. Remember that you are never truly alone. God is with you at every step. As a chosen one, you might be rejected or misunderstood by those around you. Your gifts, your vision, or even your light may be misinterpreted. This can make you question whether you are on the right path or if you are really special. This rejection, however, reflects the fact that you are walking a path that not everyone can see. Jesus was also rejected, even in his hometown, by those who did not recognize who he was. Accept that not everyone will understand your journey. This does not diminish your value or purpose. Focus on what really matters. God's opinion of you is the only one that matters in the end. Use rejection as fuel. Let it strengthen your resolve and bring you closer to your purpose. One of the most challenging moments for the chosen is feeling that God is silent. You pray, cry out, and it seems there is no answer. This can generate doubts, fear, and even a sense of abandonment. But remember, God's silence never means his absence. He is working behind the scenes, preparing something that you cannot yet see. Think of Joseph, who spent years in prison before seeing God's plans manifest in his life. Trust in God's character, not circumstances. He is faithful and always by your side, even when you don't perceive it. Use silence as an opportunity to strengthen your faith. It is in these moments that you learn to trust fully in God. Persist in prayer. Even when it seems like nothing is happening, continue seeking His presence. As a bearer of great light, you will also face spiritual resistance. Darkness tries to extinguish light, and often this manifests in the form of doubts, fears, or even external situations that seem to conspire against you. These attacks are not a sign that you're lost. On the contrary, they indicate that you are on the right path. The greater the purpose, the greater the resistance. Strengthen your spiritual armor. Read the Word, pray regularly, and keep your faith firm. Recognize the origin of the attacks. Often, the battle is not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces. Ephesians 6:12. Trust in God's power. He is greater than any opposition you may face. In a world full of distractions, staying true to God's calling can be a challenge. It's easy to get lost in comparisons, doubts, or even fatigue. You might wonder, is it worth it? The answer is a resounding yes. God has called you to something unique, and even though the journey is long and hard, the reward is eternal. Remember that you are not living to please men, but to fulfill the divine purpose. Absolutely. Let's move on to the concluding part where we will tie all the explored concepts together, providing a final message of hope and motivation. We've reached the end of this reflection, but I want you to understand that this is not just a closure, it's an invitation to a new beginning in your journey as a chosen one. Today, we've seen that suffering is not a punishment, but a divine tool for transformation, and that each pain faced has a greater purpose. Now, it's time to synthesize all this into a message that inspires you to continue steadfast on the path that God has prepared. Suffering is a polishing process. Just as a rough stone needs to be worked to become a diamond, God uses life's challenges to mold you and reveal your divine essence. God's ever-present hand, even in silence, He is working behind the scenes, aligning everything for the good of those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. You are light in a resisting world. Often the struggles you face are a reflection of the positive impact your presence has in the world. Your pain has purpose. It not only strengthens you, but also empowers you to help others and to fully live out the purpose that God has designed for you. If today you are tired, discouraged, or even thinking about giving up, I want to remind you of something powerful. God does not choose the perfect, He chooses the willing. And if He chose you, it's because He sees something in you that perhaps you haven't yet seen. Remember the words of Isaiah 40:31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. You are called to soar, to reach heights others can hardly imagine. And even if the wind is strong, it's there to propel you forward, not to knock you down. Think of a tree growing alone in the middle of the desert. It faces strong winds, sandstorms, and scorching sun. Yet, against all odds, it survives. Its roots deepen in search of water, and over time, it becomes a refuge for those passing through that desert. You are that tree. The suffering you've faced has deepened your spiritual roots, and now you have the capacity to be a refuge for others, to offer shade and comfort to those who are beginning their own journeys. I want you to leave this video with certainty. You are not alone. God is with you, guiding every step, even in moments when everything seems dark. And remember, the chosen always face greater challenges because they are called to fulfill greater missions. I invite you to be part of this community, to share your journey, and to walk side by side with other chosen ones. Leave your comment, tell your story, and let this exchange strengthen us all. If this message spoke to your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and join us on this journey of spiritual growth. Let's walk together, for the chosen to win are not alone. We are a family. And before I end, I want to leave one last reflection. Your struggle today is the victory testimony you'll share tomorrow. Trust in the process and in God's purpose for your life. With that, I conclude this message, but not our dialogue. I am here for you, and God is even closer. Until the next video, may God bless you and guide you in every step of your journey.